Shalom, following Yeshua, welcome in the rock. Today I spent a little bit of time assessing my strengths, weaknesses, the family's strengths, weaknesses, and just an idea. I think that it'd be a good idea if each man, each one of you men had a household, took the time to assess your strengths, your weaknesses, where you are as a family, your family strengths and weaknesses, and any strengths or weaknesses you might have on your homestead, whatever, your apartment. And I'm not talking about, there's the balloons flying around or UFOs and they're being shot down. And, whether this is balloons from China or it's freaking ships on the movie Independence Day, in which case we would just get Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith. Wait, Will Smith would just slap the ship out of the sky. I digress. Whether it's balloons or freaking UFOs from Independence Day or War of the Worlds or whatever it is. What is your plan? And have you assessed you and your family to make sure that you will respond right to whenever any sort of calamity comes? And that is an eye-opening experience to figure out, to run let's say a test in your household. And you find out that the people in your household don't know how to respond to things that take place. You might find out you don't even have a plan. The geopolitics are getting worse and things are falling apart and there's so many things going on. And I don't think that a large majority of people have actually assessed and found out or figured out where it is that they are as a household. Are your children undisciplined? How many times do you tell them to be quiet and they just keep screaming and yelling? How about this, when you go to the store, are they the ones that people look at and have that look like, damn, some undisciplined children right there? What about doing an assessment on a response? Do you and your family have a response to anything? Do you have an appropriate response to if something happens locally in your area? Do you have a response to if you run out of money? That's one of the things that's happening right now. More and more families are finding out that they don't have the finances to take care of even the smallest of issues. More and more households don't even have $300-400 in their savings account. Have you assessed the people around you, your neighbors? Do you know your next door neighbor in your apartment building? Do you know the person below you? Have you, developed a profile of the people surrounding you? Do you know who you can count on, who you can't count on? Have you done assessment on your food? We talked about food all the time. How much food you can have and or how long would it last, and water, things like that. Have you assessed your ability to protect yourself? One of the saddest things that I see is people's overestimation of their ability to deploy a firearm. Everyone has become a dead shot. Everyone's firearm is a taxi driver. Everyone's rifles get out to 1,500 yards. They've never done any of these things, but they know because, they read a review, and the review said it. It's so sad that people overestimate their abilities when it comes to personal protection or family protection. Do you have ammunition? Because if you don't, with the likelihood of a war coming, you do know where a lot of that's going to end up sent, right? This country has already been sending countless arms to Ukraine. What happens if there's a direct conflict that this country becomes involved in? You're going to see the existing ammo shoot up in price, no pun intended. And those that don't have it likely may not be able to afford it. Have you assessed one of the things that I was talking with a brother today, filling up his propane tank. And I looked at mine and I said, I should probably fill mine up too. Not that it's, anywhere near the bottom 10%, but just a good idea, or last 20%, but just a good idea just to make sure you can top it off and get it filled up. What about gasoline for your vehicles, for your cars? Do you still drive around with half a tank of gas or less? And do you have some gas, which is going to be kind of hard if you live in an apartment, but do you have some gas storage? Do you have, 5 or 10 gallons? If you run a generator, you're going to have some gas, but, the allocation of gas is important. Do you know how to cook without your gas burners being on? Do you have a grill? How about this? For a lot of people living just in cities, do you have a place to go when things get bad? That is one of the things that I've noticed that most people don't. They don't have a place to go to. They haven't prepared a place. And that's a biblical concept. A place being prepared. Or have you communicated with anybody or created any sort of friendships or connections? Or is it one of those things that you're just going to hope that somebody's willing to bring you in? And if you have a place to go, have you invested with that person? Too many times we see people that, kind of come empty-handed. They kind of show up and say, hey, I'm here now, and what do you need me to do to help you? Yeah, you do realize that you didn't put much into what I'm doing, and you and your wife and 3 children that's 5 extra mouths to feed. The gardens that I created were for me and my family. So, you see the problem there? You didn't bring any food storage with you. So when I calculate the food storage for my family, it was for my family, and you show up with mouths ready to eat and asking me, what do I need? Well, do you know how many gardens it's going to take to feed 5 more people? Do you know how much food storage that I don't have for 5 more people? No. I don't think that truly people are doing the assessments needed for them to figure out, or to figure out truly where they stand as a man, as a woman, as a household. I know people don't do spiritual assessments of themselves. Everyone just thinks that they're holy and righteous and right, and that nobody ever assesses themselves. Or as the book says, the Bible says, judge yourself. Nobody ever does that. We all just figure we're right because we opened up the book and started reading it, and now we got it. And even then, so many are going to hear Lord, they're going to say, Lord, didn't I do this and that? Because, their personal assessment is, I'm just right. And he's going to hear, they're going to hear in response, apart from me, you work of iniquity, I never knew you. How much would it suck to overestimate yourself and just to find out at the end, you weren't where you thought you were. He never knew you. You don't have what you need. You didn't train enough. You didn't practice enough. You didn't store enough. You want the fun of today. And you sacrificed your future. You sacrificed your financial stability. You sacrificed a place to go. You sacrificed food. You sacrificed safety, succor for tomorrow, for a little bit of fun today. Do an assessment of yourself and ask yourself, am I really where I think I am? Or am I just bullshitting myself? Because you don't want to find out where you truly are when it's too late. At that point, nobody's there to help you. Nobody cares to help you. And it's stuck, and you're stuck. With nowhere to go, nothing to do. And you're facing times of calamity by yourself. Just another thought to think about. That's something that I've been thinking about. Something to put in your mind. Bless you. Shalom.